And in this episode of the Happiest Podcast, we have on my man, Mr. Brian McMaster. He is the founder of M&M Solutions. And today we talk about faith, hustle, and health. All right, let's dive in to this episode of the Happiest Podcast with my man, Mr. Brian McMaster.
Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Kerry Jack, and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco-warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality.
Yee-yee. All right, my brother, Mr. Brian McMaster, welcome to the Happy Hustle Podcast. I am super stoked to rock the mic with you, man.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here too. I expected an intro like that. You've been doing this a while.
Well, listen, man, you and I are bros. You are part of the Happy Hustle Club, and you are also a badass, high-performing, heart-centered entrepreneur, an operations specialist with over 30 years of experience in manufacturing, quality control, and consulting. You're the founder of M&M Quality Solutions, which is a 3PL company. Basically pick, pack, and ship, right, for all different types of products, but specifically focused in the health and fitness world now. And you do all of our fulfillment and shipping for the Happy Hustle, which is awesome. And I'm excited to talk to you today about faith, hustle, and health. Specifically diving into those three categories and how you can happy hustle a life that you love when you put those three things at the forefront, as well as layering in obviously family and, just being a good human, which I know those things are obviously at the top of the list as well. But you're also, one thing I find very cool is you're also Ben Greenfield's private client. And so you are like deep down the biohacking rabbit hole. And we actually hung out at Ben's house for the Optimized Life Mastermind, the collab we did with Ben recently. And, it was super cool to crush workouts together, break bread together, just get to know you on a deeper level and to see, man, like how much you're crushing it in this realm, in the biohacking space with Ben's tutelage, right? So who better to learn from? But before we get into all that good stuff, Brian, I always like to ask, what is something interesting that not too many people know about Brian?
That's a good question. Yeah. Well, first thought that comes to mind is I'm a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people know that, but I've been at it for 19 years.
Damn.
And last year, November, I tested for my 4th degree. So yeah.
That's awesome.
It's the thing I say about Taekwondo or martial arts, it's discipline, it's process, it's repeatability, so a lot of things we use in business, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we can liken it to that.
Is there another degree after 4th?
Oh, yeah. So
how many can you get?
In Korea, they will let you go to 9. You can't go to 10 because 10 is perfect. So you get your 10th degree when you pass over to wherever you believe you're going.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. But it's a heck of an investment in time.
Oh, so. Yeah. 4th degree is no joke, man. I mean, we just started, Steph and I back last year, Ishinryu Karate. And we went to a couple of Taekwondo studios, but we settled on this Ishinryu studio that, is close by in Bozeman. But then we had the baby and, like you said, it's a time investment, and there went that, activity. So
you'll get back into it once he's old enough.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get him back into it. I used to be bigger into martial arts, and I loved specifically Krav Maga, because I think that one was just so practical for everyday reality. It's very situational, very much, maximum damage, maximum efficiency. So nonetheless, speaking of efficiency, I want to talk about how you can be more efficient as an entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs listen to this show, and I like to just kick things off right out the gates with, some value that people can take and tangibly implement. And I
Sure.
want to start with faith because, this one is sometimes a little bit, I don't know, debated even when you think about its role in business. Talk to us
Sure.
specifically how faith has impacted your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, another very good question. Um, so first of all, it drives me. I start my day. I start my day praying. I wake up before I even open my eyes, and then once I do open my eyes, I just thank God that I have another day.
Mm,
Because let's face it, if you're on this earth, you won the lottery. I mean,
yeah.
it's an opportunity, and whether it's good or bad, it's to me it's an incredible opportunity. So I I didn't start doing this until I was raised Catholic, and then I went through kind of the discovery phases and all that kind of stuff, but
Mm,
I didn't really start to really get hard into my faith until a couple of years ago. Both my parents passed away
mm.
within 13 months of each other,
Oh,
and my mom was dementia, my dad was cancer. My mom went last, and
mm,
she watching someone go through dementia was just absolutely horrible.
yeah.
But man, it just watching her do that for a year, just deteriorate and then pass away. I was on a mission. I've always been a searcher. I've always been looking for things. I've always been, want to be successful and that kind of stuff. But, you know, I think we find as we get later in life, you don't really realize what successful means
Mm,
until you wake up one day and all of a sudden it's like the wisdom, I say, of God, is coming down on you and like, man, what am I doing all this for?
yeah.
And that's what I started. I walked into a meeting. We do EOS in our company. That's how one of the systems we use to run our company. And I walked into a meeting, and here we are. We're doing all these things that everybody does, right? Deliver on time to the customer, and customer service is number one. I think it was Ford that said job one, right? Everybody's got a tagline, and I just wasn't motivated. I'm like, man,
Mm,
I just lost my parents. It's like, what am I doing this for? What's
yeah.
my purpose?
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden the implementer, she's like, well, what would drive you? And I said, well, look, we sell this thing in 5 or 10 years and we make 10 millionaires out of our employees. That would drive me.
Mm,
So, everybody kind of takes a step back. And I just, at that point, for whatever reason, it just really started to set into me that I need to live with a purpose.
mm,
And that purpose has to be bigger than me.
yeah.
So I just really started to hone in on what can we do, and we go from in our meeting, Carrie, we go from you deliver all these results and all this kind of stuff to our mission as a 3PL,
Yeah.
an integrator, and I'll tell you more about that later. But as a
Yeah.
3PL, our mission goes from deliver on time and be the best 3PL in the industry to now it's we change people's lives. I
Mm,
mean, what 3PL on the planet has a mission statement?
yeah.
We change people's lives. And what it really boiled down to was, I need to have a purpose and our company needs to have a purpose. And as soon as we started doing that, it just changed. It was a game changer. I mean,
Yeah.
for everybody, the energy, everything. And faith, man, as soon as I turned to God, as soon as I started saying, you know what, I need more. I need to know what this is all about. It's like things
Mm,
just started happening for me. It's kind of like, everybody talks about miracles and, I never see the miracles that they talk about on TV. We just don't pay attention. They're all around us, you know.
mm.
So
Well said.
my faith is a big part of me, man. That's where I start my days and that's where I end my days. And, I figure you give it to God, what better place can it be? So,
Mm. Amen, brother. Wow. I mean, one of the 10 alignments of being a happy hustler, as you know, is mindful spirituality, right? And
sure.
this piece to the puzzle cannot be replaced. Now, I don't really care one religion or another, and I don't think Brian does either. He's a seeker, I'm a seeker. We take from all different types of truth, right? Whatever
Yep.
that looks like. But I do think just having a connection to a higher power and having faith over fear and trusting the process and really listening to, God, right? And
Yep.
the creation, the creator, and what he, shares with us. I feel like there's just, I guess you could say she, whatever people believe in, right? He or she, whatever the, thing you
Yep.
pray to, a higher power. It's such a piece to this puzzle of happy hustling, a life that you love and creating your dream reality. And without that, I think, you will have unfulfillment. And it sounds like that's kind of where you landed, after all these years of running a very quote unquote successful business. That's what even Tony Robbins talks about. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And,
Absolutely.
it sounds like when you lost your parents, it really made you reflect on, okay, well, what is all this for? And I think that question, the sooner you ask it, the better, right?
Yeah.
And then you can think about for yourself out there watching and listening, well, what am I doing all this for? Because you can't take it with you. When you're
No.
done with this meat suit, that's it. Go to another realm or whatever you believe in, but you're not taking your cars, your clothes, your money in the bank, whatever. It's all just go back into the middle. You push all the Monopoly chips in, and then someone else goes and gets them.
Yeah.
So for you, if you have to advise, because I know you mentor a lot of entrepreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs, if you have to advise someone on discovering their purpose, and not that I was even going to go down this path, but I do feel like it's relevant because, a lot of people struggle when they hear that word. It's a cliche buzzword, but for you, and I know it's an important one, to identify, but for you, when you're advising, young entrepreneurs or even older entrepreneurs and aspiring ones who maybe are working a corporate career and maybe not having that fulfillment and lacking that purpose, what's your tactical insight or advice on how they can really discover it?
It's interesting because I have a lot of friends that I'm not necessarily coaching, right? And they'll come to me and they'll be like, "Hey, I love what you're doing, man. It looks so exciting. I saw your post. I'm thinking about starting my own business."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, what are you into it for? What do you want to start your own? Oh, I want more free time and extra money." And I'm like, how about we go out to the garage and I hit you in the toe with a big hammer and you go back to work because it'll be less pain and you'll still have your paycheck. And, and obviously I'm joking, but I immediately, as soon as you ask me that question, I know exactly what I would tell people and what I do tell people. And it's start with intention. So this took me a while to really get into this. I have crazy routines that I go through and things that I do to start my day. And it's really as simple as that. Start with intention. No matter what you do, what is your intention? What are you intending to do? And there's power in that. When you know what you're trying to do and it can't be, you just hit on it just a little bit ago. It can't be material things. It can't be money. It can't be cars. All that stuff comes. And, when you're young, I'd chill with a Rob report from the time I was 18 till, whenever the book went over $10 and I decided I don't want to buy it anymore. But, it's like you're looking at Lamborghinis, you're looking at Ferraris, you're looking at boats, all this stuff. And it's great to dream and it's great to chill with something like that. But once you have those things, as well as I do, you buy something new and it wears off very quickly. Yeah. And then it's like a drug. You got to have something else. You got to, like our women, they have shopping problems sometimes, it's because that bag just doesn't look the same anymore.
It's the more disease, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But when you start to simplify things and you have intention, it just, to me, it creates a solid foundation and it says, okay, now I know where I'm headed. Now I can really dissect it and figure out how I'm going to get there. Yeah. And not only that, I can keep it simple. Because that's the other thing too. We try to make things so complicated, and I tell a lot of my entrepreneurs and a lot of people that I coach, just keep it simple. Everybody wants to pimp their business. You got to have the best of this, the best of that, best business cards. I had a guy tell me the other day, "Yeah, I want to get these metal business cards." I'm like, "What the heck do you want metal business cards for?" "Oh, it leaves an impact." Leave an impact on your bottom line, brother. Don't leave an impact. Don't leave an impact with their metal business cards. And, for some industries, maybe that's good. But,
Yeah.
So I think it really boils down to that. Keep it simple. Start with intention, and
Yeah.
and when you have that intention, just keep driving, keep focusing, and that really, to me, gets you to the promised land.
Yeah. And it's just like you said, you have to make it bigger than yourself and the materialistic items. That's what's key, because again, we all crave the three freedoms: creative, time, and financial freedom, right? And that is a great byproduct of having a strong purpose. When you, again, I define it passion, right? That inward calling on your heartstrings. Oftentimes it could be something that really pisses you off too. Like, I'm
Yeah,
very
sure.
passionate about this. It pisses me the heck off and I want to fix it. And then it's the purpose, which is like that outward serving mission that, you know, makes a positive impact, right? That's, not exploiting people or the earth's resources for the wrong reasons. When you combine those three things, the passion, the purpose, and the positive impact, you then hit the happy hustle sweet spot, my friends. And you're doing it, with intentionality. You're waking up every day and you're excited to get after it. And I know this seems like a pipe dream for some who are kind of deep in the rat race, but it really, it's possible for everyone, and that's why I love doing this show and talking to people like you who are inspiring, who are doing it at the highest level and helping others do the same. But I do think there's an important piece, and that's hustle. And we talk about faith, we talk
Absolutely.
about the hustle. Like, nothing's going to get done unless you do the work, and no one's going to do it for you. You're not going to think about a Ferrari and it's not going to show up in your driveway the next day. That's just not how it works, people. You
Yeah.
got to get after it. So let's talk about, your discipline and the hustle required to grow a real company that actually makes money and makes an impact.
Well, I think first thing is you got to have a strong stomach.
Yeah.
It's as you know, as an entrepreneur, and many of the people that are listening, and the people I talk to on a regular basis, you're going to have ups and downs, but you're not down and out, you're not dead. So you just gotta keep moving forward. And I think a lot of times, and I was thinking about this a while ago, and may relate to this more so, but people look at it like they'll watch a podcast and it's a Navy SEAL, or they'll watch a podcast and it's a billionaire, or something along those lines. And I think people look at those kind of things and they say, I can't achieve that. I
Mm,
can't, I can't go through SEAL training or whatever, and I can't make a successful podcast or a successful business because I don't have that story.
mm,
You know, I'm I'm more of a I'm more of the normal guy, right? I've had tremendous experiences, and I've had situations that would make people cry, and including me, because I did cry
yeah.
at some point. But I'm in those situations, and pushing through, using my faith, using discipline, hustling.
Mm,
Just like you said, it's like you got to put your head down sometimes and just grind.
yeah.
And and not a lot of people want to do that, and that's the glamour. I had someone say to me the other day, just let me dream. Just let me dream. Well, okay, I'm okay with dreaming. Dreaming's great, but dreaming doesn't get it done. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so let's dream for a little while, but then let's put the rubber to the road, and
Yeah.
let's head in the right direction here and figure out what we got to do to get this done.
Yeah.
So it's okay to dream. It's okay, like I said, to read through a Rob report, but at some point you got to put your head down and push through it, and
Yeah.
and that takes discipline.
It surely does. And I mean, one thing I just always like to keep it real with people, the entrepreneur game is not for the faint of heart, right? You really need to have, like you said, a strong stomach, and you need to be able to obviously persevere past adversities, because there's many a days when shit hits the fan. Fires are happening, stuff is coming in left, right, and center, and you gotta be able to overcome it and lead your team. And again, this probably isn't anything new for entrepreneurs out there listening and watching, but they can probably nod their head and say, yep, yep, I get it. So for the people who are like maybe on the cusp of taking that plunge and becoming a business owner, which I truly believe is the only path to freedom, those three freedoms: creative, time, and financial freedom. Like, doesn't matter, even if you're a great stock trader, but you work for Morgan Stanley, like you're still going to have a boss and someone you report to. So you're not going to have ultimate time freedom, right? Unless you make enough money where then you can just do it on your own, which then you become basically an entrepreneur, right? Because you're going to start your own entity. And even if you're a real estate investor, well, you're still going to have a real estate portfolio and you're going to have your own business underneath it. And you probably do, fix and flips or something of the sort, property management. Like you're still a business owner. So entrepreneurship is the path to freedom. So what do you say to someone who's going to take that plunge? Like when you're giving them a realistic dose of what it's going to require, but also enough inspiration where they don't get gun shy and now take the plunge.
Well, even though you could be successful, right? I have a successful business. Sometimes I got to pinch myself and say, how did I get here? It doesn't matter how successful you are as an entrepreneur. My opinion, you always someday run into where you need a reminder. You need somebody to say, hey, this is how it really is, or hey, did you think about this? And that's a product of having a really good team around you too. It doesn't always have to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes we'll have employees that are sweeping the floors look at me and say something, and I'm like, man, that's profound. Yeah, I didn't think of that. So I think we all need to be reminded. Yeah. And then as far as the stomach piece, and I get excited about that because I heard a saying one time, and I think you'll like this, and you may have even heard it yourself. But the definition of an entrepreneur is jumping off a cliff and building the airplane on the way down. Yeah. I mean, so that's exactly what you're saying. Got to have a stomach for this stuff, and I think also this brings it back to the faith piece. You got to have faith in yourself. You got to have faith in your team. You got to have faith in what you're doing and your drive. You're going to fail. I mean, it's inevitable. It happens. I mean, I've had some really, really terrible situations I've been in. I've been bankrupt. I've lost everything I had to move back in with my folks at one point. I mean, I got the quintessential entrepreneurial story, but the bottom line is I just never gave up. And it's just not in my DNA. So if you're going to do it, I encourage people, pull the trigger, do it. No, don't go mortgage your second mortgage on your house and, put your family in danger. I mean, some of these people have things you really got to consider and think about. But, if you're really thinking about pulling the trigger, the other thing I would encourage you to do is talk to other entrepreneurs. Yeah. Talk to 4 or 5 people that have done it. Let them tell you the horror stories and that kind of stuff. And then, pull the trigger. But the biggest mistake I always see and talk to people about is as soon as they fail, like investments or any of that kind of stuff, I'm done with that. I'm out. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people just quit. Yeah. And that's just not the way it works. You're going to fail multiple times before you make it big. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it works. So we have a saying in Taekwondo, 7 times down, 8 times up. So as long as you pick yourself back up, you're still in the game.
That's it, man. Yep. Yeah, you'll never lose if you don't quit. And
Absolutely.
I've had 4 legit business failures, and they hurt. Yeah, you are embarrassed by them oftentimes, but nonetheless, that failure is fertilizer, as John Maxwell says. And you actually grow something beautiful from it, and it's required, right? So don't quit.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought I was brilliant, and I was going to start a trucking company, and I have all these warehouses all over the place. All these shipping lanes are great. I'll start this trucking company, and I did everything that I would tell people not to do today. Buy the best equipment, all that kind of stuff, and it ended up costing me a lot of money. But the point was, when I was doing it, everybody's like, man, he's brilliant. The guy knows what he's doing. It's awesome. He's a great entrepreneur, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, rah, rah, we're here to see Brian. And then when I failed, everybody was like, man, I told him he shouldn't have done that. Yeah. Man, I tried to tell him. Yeah. And then here I am. I'm trying to really come to peace with what I had done. And I'm thinking I'll never make a decision in front of my team again, because they're always going to think I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, I stopping short of going to therapy. I really had to go through some to get my gumption back to make decisions. Yeah. But the thing is, you just do it. You just take the step, and you keep rocking and rolling. And going back to my faith, a lot of that has to do with faith too. I really believe that I'm going to be taken care of regardless. I just need to work hard, take care of myself, that helps too. Blind faith is, man, it can be a really, really useful and powerful tool.
Yeah, amen to that. Speaking of useful and powerful tools, you are the only entrepreneur that I personally know who's running an 8-figure plus company without an assistant. And so you got an amazing, powerful assistant and tool in your arsenal now. And shout out to Rhonda.
Yeah.
And I want to like kind of stop here for a beat because sometimes as entrepreneurs, we think we have to do it all by ourselves, but really it's about building the people like Dan Martell talks about, and the people then build the company, and it's proper delegation and leadership. Talk to us about that mindset shift and how it's evolved over the years of growing your business, where now you bring in people and look for those key hires to ultimately do what is best for the company.
Well, definitely shout out to Rhonda.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have several other CEOs groups that I'm involved in, Happy Hustle being one of them. And I got guys coming to me, hey, can you have Rhonda talk to my team and tell me what it is to hire somebody like Rhonda? I mean, I literally had a Vistage guy the other day he's like, we need you to have Rhonda come talk to us about how to hire herself.
Whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming. But I have to tell you, the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure-free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions, guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that the Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
Yeah. So Rhonda, she's like, I came in the first day and we sat down in the conference room after I had hired her. Of course, I went through the interview process and all that kind of stuff. And I just said, here I am. I'm an entrepreneur. I hate details. I don't like setting up phone calls. I don't like doing all this kind of stuff. But I literally said this to her. I said, I have no idea what to do with you. I don't know. I got this job description and she's very seasoned. So she said, Brian, here's what we'll do. We'll learn it together. She's like, I've done this before. But here's the bottom line. I'm here to make your life easier. So however I can make your life easier, that's what we're going to do. And I was so relieved. Yeah. I mean, cause I got to put a lot of trust in this girl. I mean, and I say girl, she's a woman. However, she is just, she just basically took me by the hand and said, here's what you need to do. Here's what's been successful for me and CEOs in the past. Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head, man. I mean, how many times I bet it was 3 or 4 Happy Hustle calls. And I'm like, Rhonda, oh man, Rhonda's doing this, Rhonda's doing that. And I'm offering her services. Hey, if you guys need Rhonda for anything, you let me know, but a long time ago, one of my coaches, he's not my coach anymore, but one of my life coaches told me, because I was thinking about hiring my president, and he said, Brian, he said, I'm going to tell you something. He said, hopefully you remember this for a long time. If you want to grow, you got to let go. Mm. And I was like, it was profound. Man. It still sticks with me today. Yeah. I mean, we talk about golden nuggets. That's the one. And as soon as I started to do that, I mean, my business grew exponentially in profit and in sales. Yeah. And the thing is, there's a big piece or a big caveat to that. You got to have people you trust. I have a lot of trust in my executive team. There's very little that my executive team does not know about me. And I'm talking details, but they know that what I tell them is going to happen. And if you build that trust, man, you can let go. And when you do let go, man, your company exponential. But yeah, I even said it today at some point. I can't believe I did without Rhonda for this period of time.
Yeah. Well, and again, whether it's, an executive assistant, or it's your internal bookkeeper, or your traffic, or, ads person, or a new sales rep, whatever it is, like, if you want to grow, you have to let go. I love that line. And it's not just a line, it's a truth of business. And I mean, it resonates for me tremendously, because we're at this kind of growth stage where we're ready to break off into the B2B SaaS offering. And, we're bringing on a lot of different team members. And it's one of those things where if I'm going to stay the happy hustler that I'm destined to be, that I practice and preach, I need to let go, or else I'll go insane. I won't have this systematic harmonization of ambition and well-being, right? And that's, what oftentimes happens when you are growing a company. You burn the candle at both ends, and things get sacrificed, and then you look around at the end and you got all this money and accolades and quote unquote success, but you sacrificed faith, family, fitness, fun, and oftentimes freedom at the cost, right? So
yeah,
what's your take on how can you systematically harmonize that ambition and well-being, aka happy hustle? Because I know this is like Brian, 10.0 version now, doing it at the highest level.
Well, interesting. So everybody throws these words around: scale and, growth and, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that we're going to focus on for 2025 is our growth and scaling. But how do you scale and not lose who you are? How do you, and I think that's kind of the question that you're asking. Those are some things that I really contemplated for the new year. It's like, how do we get bigger, but how do we make sure we don't lose our values? How do we make sure we don't lose who we are? Because that's the tough part, right? And I think it's a lot of things, but to simplify it, it's a process. It's having things really, hey, this is the way we run our company. These are the meetings that we have. Let's not meet ourselves to death, just things like that, because that's what people do too, right? Paralysis analysis and all that kind of stuff. It's like, just pick and keep things simple. And let's not forget who we are. And I think even in its most simplest form, it's your core values. We spend a lot of time on our core values, and we hire, we fire, we live by those things. And I think if you do that and you keep that in mind as you scale and as you grow, and integrity and those types of things, that just makes all the difference. But coupling that with having the right team, finding the right people in the right seats. I mean, that's huge, and people just don't seem to latch on to that. I think a lot of companies, it's a big number, I don't know what the percentage is, they still look at employees as a commodity, and your people are not a commodity. And I think that goes back to the purpose. The purpose is to help them grow, to help our company grow. And you do that, everything's going to work simultaneously. People are not a commodity. People are the most important thing we have in our business. And most people say that, but they don't do it.
Yeah. And, sadly, most people, studies show, who are employees are unhappy and disengaged. Actually, 2 out of every 3, because they're getting treated like commodities, right? And if you want a thriving company culture that is really going to be good for the bottom line in the overall scheme of things, you need to make sure you prioritize team well-being and obviously just overall engagement. And so that's, again, tailoring into our company happiness program and what we're doing to combat that problem. But it is just that simple mindset shift of, hey, these are my people, these are my family, and shout out to my team. I mean, they've been with me 5 years, and it's pretty awesome to see that and to have that loyalty go both ways, and to share our 3 core values of, outgoing optimism, inspirational integrity, and reciprocal respect, right? That's the Happy Hustle's 3 core values. And oftentimes, embodying those and making sure, again, that they're bite-sized enough where people remember them and implement them too. I think a lot of people get a little core value crazy, and they're like 10
Yeah.
on the wall.
Well, a funny story, just real quick.
Yeah.
Whenever I go look at buying a company, one of the first things I'll do is I'll go in and you find the stuff that's hanging on the wall, right?
Yeah.
And if I purchase it, that stuff's coming down because they're not living by it.
Yeah.
And you go out in the shop and they got operations billboards or Kaizen boards or whatever, and the dates from 3 months ago, it hasn't been updated. It's like, why do you have this stuff hanging here? And what it was, and I really caution my team about this a lot too, because we're in meetings and trainings and all that kind of stuff, was oh gosh, Brian read a book last night. Here we go. We're going to change things again. And then a week later, oh boy, Brian read another book, we're changing it back the other way, and that just happens so often.
It does.
But when you finally realize that, everybody, no one wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I'm going to make my manager's life hell today. Nobody does that, but I know people think they do, but nobody does that. I mean, generally people want to come to work. They want to have a good experience and they want to help the company grow,
right.
but they have to understand that we want to help them grow too. And that's really the game changer. So
yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. It's just, again, living with integrity, leading with integrity, and just obviously giving a crap about your people too, right? Speaking of which, let's talk a little bit brass tacks about M&M Quality Solutions and just, who it serves. And maybe there's people out there probably watching and listening who have a product, have some type of, consumable that they are shipping, some sort of type of swag item or, whatever it is for their business. And I feel like, 3PLs, like they sometimes, you just accept what is for customer standards and service and rates. But like you and M&M Quality Solutions have a different, complete paradigm in how you serve your people. So let's talk about your business and exactly who it's for. And maybe if someone's out there watching and listening, the best way to get in contact with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of 3PLs. I actually started, we did this a year ago. We don't identify as, this is good on the times, right? We don't identify as a 3PL. We identify as an integrator. I call us an integrator. Yeah. And the reason I call us an integrator is because really if you came to me with a product and you didn't know where to go with it, I don't know how to start it. I don't know who to talk to source it. We could do all that from soup to nuts. We can get design done. Harley Davidson was my first client. Yeah. And I still deal with Harley today, but it was in a different capacity than the warehousing and logistics piece. But I met a lot of people. Those people moved on. I just have a tremendous amount of friends and people who are in industries all across the globe. So I've made a lot of contacts. So I'm able to start putting these pieces together. And a couple of years ago, somebody in our warehouse that had a customer, and he's like, "Hey, can you source this stuff for me?" And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Let me make some connections. So my business has largely grown into an integration where I can say, all right, Carrie, I can do all these things for you the whole way to shipping to your customer and delivery, or I can do pieces of them for you. Yeah. And typically, it sounds corny. We have solutions in our name. I give Jim, our president, heck all the time because he's like, yeah, we have solutions in our name. I'm like, yeah, we get a free set of steak knives with that too. We do have solutions in our name. And the reason that is because our reputation was built on, solving problems. Right. And so anybody can do pallet in, pallet out. Anybody can pick stuff and put it in a box and stick a label on it and send it out the door. But what we try to do is help our customers from all aspects. Do you need it sourced? course shipping and pick and pack and that type of stuff. But we're also moving down an avenue now where we're helping our customers sell their product.
Yeah.
And so I'll make a connection to somebody through one of my CEOs groups that's in the warehouse, and all of a sudden they're selling on a different channel. And for me, it works out great for me because I can continue to do the business and the business grows. So we're really trying to take a holistic approach. We don't want to be all things to all people. That's not what I'm trying to do. But within the supply chain, we can do the whole ball of wax. So I really call it an integrator. And we've been very successful with sourcing some pretty complicated product, and we've been very successful with delivering really heavy stuff, white glove, to someone's front door. So I may not do it all in-house. I might have partners who work with me, but I choose my partners just like we choose our employees or our team members. We make sure we trust them and they can get the job done. So, and we've been in business for 21 years for a reason, and it really is about the customer. Yeah, customer and people. You take care of your internal customers and your external customers, and they're going to keep coming back. So, and one other important aspect too, which this goes along the lines of purpose, is I won't take business just to take business. We interview our customers just as much as they interview us. And we have turned jobs away that could be very, very profitable because they go against my values, my company values, or we just, we don't align with that client. So that's, I think that's a pretty bold and strong statement in a lot of circles and a lot of cases, but we know who we are. And that's what's making us successful.
Yeah, I think that piece right there is such a monumental shift in business ownership. It's like, do work with people you want to work with, be this catch-all service or whatnot to everybody, because then you're going to be unhappy and unfulfilled. And I did this, so you can take my, my firsthand experience where I was like, I can help everybody happy hustle. And it's like, I was not very happy myself because I'm talking to people who I have nothing in common with. They didn't align with my values. They, none of it made sense. And now I only deal with the people I really want to work with and spend time with, like yourself, like you're doing the same, and I get to do with you, because, Brian, like I mentioned, he's a part of the Happy Hustle Club, and he's an amazing person. I get to see him on my calendar, and then I get excited about that call. Not, oh damn, I got to talk to this guy. You know what I mean? And
I know exactly.
That's literally the difference. And it's the same thing with your customers. Oftentimes, it's that 80-20 law. A lot of your headaches, typically, 80% of them will come from, a select group of people who probably aren't even paying the most, or not even worth the most to clients. But a lot of your great results will come from a small subset of your clients. And it's just about being intentional. So I feel like that's a great through line too, just this intentionality, with the faith, with the hustle, and then with the health. So people who are interested, I mean, is there a like a specific website link or anything that we could, refer people to who maybe want to explore doing business? Because you guys ship all over the globe and all over the country, and you work, with companies of all sizes. So where could people go to learn more?
Yeah, so they can go to our website for sure, which is www.mmqualitysolutions.com. That'll really kind of give you the nooks and crannies kind of what we do. But then there's a link on there to reach out to us as well, and we'd be happy to talk to anybody about any of their any issues or anything they want to look at having a solution provided for. So if you just want to hit up our website, that's fine. I'd give out my cell phone number, but I don't want to do that nationally.
You don't have to do that. That's a little aggressive. Let's go to the proper channel.
Well,
Let's just kind of end the faith and the hustle and then the health conversation with a couple of the greatest lessons you've learned in the health game. specifically now, I mean, you just had your 50th and you damn look great, brother. Like,
Thanks,
I
man.
mean, holy crap. I hope I look like you when I'm 50. The guy's shredded. He doesn't have a wrinkle on him. And if he dyed his hair, you'd think he was, 22. But he's got his wisdom, his salt and pepper.
I do gray highlights. Actually, yeah.
Gray highlights. So let's talk about just 3 of your greatest health lessons, and I'm sure maybe some of these might come from Ben, and one of the greatest biohackers of all time, right? If not,
yeah.
Really. So let's talk about a couple that come to mind that have really helped you increase your performance as an entrepreneur and as a happy hustler.
First of all, I'm really privileged to be, Ben's a great friend. It really started off as a coaching relationship coach and business relationship for him. But as you saw at your house, he's just a phenomenal individual, and it's turned into some really great opportunities. But, I listen to his podcast faithfully, and I have for several years. I've been private client of his now for I think a year and a half or a little over a year. And somebody called into his podcast one time and said, man, and Ben said this as well, you could go broke if you bought everything that he promoted, and the reason I know that is because my basement is full of gadgets and, all kinds of stuff. It looks like Darth Vader's bathroom actually. Right. But someone called in and said, I'm on a budget. I can't afford this stuff. And the guy said, what can I do? And he said, I want to make sure I don't butcher this, but he said 4 things. He said, master hot and cold. So yes, you got to get in the ice bath. He said, master your sleep, move at least 10,000 steps a day, and eliminate bad stuff from your diet, seed oils and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, and he's like, you don't have to buy any of the gadgets. You do that, you're going to extend your life.
Right.
And that was just absolutely profound for me. And that was before I joined his coaching group. Once I joined his coaching group, and I'm, as you know, I can Voxer him. I can talk to him. Like if I Voxered him right now, he'd Voxer me back probably within 5 minutes, which is really, really cool. Yeah. And he designs all the stuff, and it's just fantastic. And I'm not doing a shameless plug for Ben, but he, and anyway, he's put it in such a way that it's simple for me to understand. You can listen to all these podcasts and all this stuff, and there's just so much information.
Right.
And at first it was like taking a drink out of a fire hose. Oh yeah. But then when he kind of simplifies it, put it down. The bottom line is just do something every day. Something. Just get up and move. And that's another big one. That's probably number 2. You tell yourself you're going to get on I'm just going to get on the treadmill for 5 minutes. You're going to get on for 40. It's just it's a proven fact. You're going to at least do 30. You're not going to do 5. Yeah. So it's get up and move, and then to me it's the also elaborating on the I'm in the ice bath pretty much less than 40 minutes after I get up in the morning, and 3 minutes and it's chilly, but man, when you pop out of there, it is, well, as you know, because we did the lake at the top of the mountain. Yeah. But it's just, if you can do those simple things, move, keep yourself cold, make sure you're resting. I mean, rest is another thing too. That was, I was like, Ben, do I got to get 8 hours of sleep? And he's like, everybody's different, but take a half hour, 45 minutes in the middle of the day, 2:00. I got it on my calendar. Do a little nap. Yeah. It makes you feel like $1 million. Oh yeah. And everybody else is running around going, oh, I'm so tired. I need another cup of coffee. And you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go, man. I just took a 20-minute nap. Yeah. So, just simple things like that. You can keep it simple. You don't have to have a crazy routine like I do, which my routine. Yeah. You don't have to have, 3-hour routine in the morning. You just need to get up and move. You need to breathe. You need to master hot and cold. And those things really make a lot of difference.
Oh yeah, man. It really is that simple. Master the hot and cold, saunas and cold plunges. Master your sleep. And we just had Dr. Michael Bruce on the podcast, celebrity sleep doctor. He's actually coming to speak to the Happy Hustle Club.
Sweet.
Our next guru, so you'll get to meet him. But I mean, he said not everyone needs 8 hours. A small subset of people do, but you do need to have quality sleep, get into that stage 3 and 4 REM cycles, right? And then you said, just move that ass, right?
Yeah.
Don't like sit stagnant like all day, every day. You're not gonna feel good. And so just 30 minutes a day, and then just stop shoving crap down the pie hole, right?
Yep.
Like you just stop all that, garbage in, and you'll feel like night and
Amazing.
day
Yep.
difference. So there you
And
have,
Carrie, movement too. I mean, I'm at my desk and I have an alarm on my watch or on my desk here, and at the top of every hour for 5 minutes. That's what Ben has me doing. Just move, just do something.
yeah.
Could be an Egoscue routine, could be what, just 5 minutes. Hang in. I got if I could turn the camera around, I would, but I have a gravity chair. So in my office, I'll do the gravity chair for 5 minutes. That stuff makes an amazing difference. And if you just did 10 push-ups at the top of every hour, that's 80 push-ups.
Yeah.
I mean, then you can go tell your girlfriend or your wife, I'm doing 80 push-ups a day.
Yeah. And like I have a pull-up bar in my bathroom, so anytime I go take a leak, I have a rule. I have to do pull-ups. And you got a rebounder in your office, which is an amazing tool. It's like a mini trampoline. If you don't have one, highly recommend getting one. But like little stuff like that can make such a pivotal difference.
Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. Ben calls it snacking on workouts.
There you go.
So basically, instead of going for a bag of potato chips, do 15 pull-ups or 15 push-ups or something along those lines. I mean, it just makes all the difference in the world. And you'll find too that all of a sudden your body will start changing shape, and you don't got to be in the gym for 2 hours a day. I mean, actually, it's proven now that anything more than 60 minutes, I think, is, I don't want to make any disclaimers on here, but anything over 60 minutes is actually considered sometimes detrimental to your body. So, we're learning more.
Yeah, exactly, man. Well, speaking of learning more, I know you also, learn some more stuff about just happy hustling, coming on some of the masterminds you went on, the Montana mastermind. You're coming on the ski one. I'm so excited. Not to look for like a commercial either for our Happy Hustle Club or our masterminds, but just, openly and honestly, how have they impacted your life? And just, from a truly honest standpoint, I'd love to hear live on the air.
Well, it's not hard to do a commercial for you. So, and I'll tell you, man, first of all, going back to kind of our previous, a little bit further back in the conversation, the people that are in the group make all the difference. And it's clear that you're not one of these guys that has this group that we're going to have 2,000 members and you can't really keep track of them all, or you got to have a team do it. You're one-on-one, your touch point with these people. And the quality of people in this group to me is nothing short of amazing. And that says a lot for you. And I'm not blowing smoke, but it says a lot for you with vetting the people. And as far as, I've just met some incredible people. The other thing too is the vulnerability with these people. I mean, you're sitting around a campfire in the mountains, and there's nothing else to affect your attention or any of that kind of stuff except for a beautiful sky and a moon that's bright as the sun. These people, we had a blast and we had fun and we learned to do some things and all that kind of stuff. But seeing how vulnerable some of these entrepreneurs can be, and some of these guys are worth millions and millions of dollars, and they're sitting there saying, hey, I got this issue with my wife, or I got this issue with my children, or, whatever. I mean, some of the things I heard is like, wow, I walk away sometimes and I'm like, man, I thought I had, some challenges in my life, but then also I'm saying to myself, hey, it's possible to deal with this stuff because look at these guys, are super successful. And nobody ever sees the inside of the book because, the cover's closed. But, if you could just see inside some of these people, sometimes you realize that, being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you're this tough, badass, whatever. It just means that you're persistent and you stick to a code or you stick to values. And, so the how the groups affected me, I'll go to my fiance / wife to be. We might as well be married, but we're gonna have the ceremony this year, by the way. But I came home from Montana Mastermind after 5 days in the wilderness with a bunch of dudes, and I mean, she was like, "Man, you're a different guy." I mean, I was truly changed. I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about my relationship, and just, I mean, just overall the wholeness of what came out of that. It was just unbelievable. I mean, if you're listening, you gotta at least check it out. Just come to a call.
Yeah.
I mean, the calls themselves are huge. But I remember somebody asked me when we came down the mountain, what do you think? What are you thinking right now? And I remember saying, it's loud. it's loud in Bozeman.
Yeah,
It was quiet up there. But
it's so true.
Yeah, just the people you meet and the camaraderie and the just the openness. It makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel like I mean I could reach out to any one of these guys on our chats or whatever, and they're there for you.
Yeah.
I think every single one of them wished me a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, and it's just it's huge, man. Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, well, I receive all the kind words, and I'm so grateful to have you part of the club, man. And really, whether you're part of the Happy Hustle Club or any community, we need that as entrepreneurs, as happy hustlers. So I highly just urge everyone to find that and get that support, because it's lonely doing it yourself.
Yeah.
You need that tribe, and I'm just so grateful to have you in it, man. And yeah, lots of fun. I actually walked up on Brian taking a dump in the woods, with eye contact. So before we made eye contact, I was like, "Oh, geez," and he didn't see me, so that was even weirder, because then it looked like I was stalking him in the woods.
Yeah, we're forever connected in some way, Carrie. I don't know how, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up with our rapid fire round. And this is just where I ask you random questions and you answer honestly. First thing that comes to mind. Sound good?
Okay. Yep.
All right. Here we go. Favorite food? Hit it.
Fish.
Favorite movie?
Cocktail.
Favorite book?
Is this where I say Happy Hustle 2.0?
No.
Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
What's your spirit animal?
Tiger, white tiger.
Oh, white tiger. I like it. Best business advice?
Persistence. Just stay persistent and don't give up.
Happy hustle hack for your money. Something you do to save, grow, and invest.
I have a guy who helps me do the save and invest and that type of stuff. But I think there's a lot to be said for get it out of your check before you see it. So, when you don't see it, it goes into an account, and all of a sudden you're like, oh. So have your financial guy or your accountant set something up so you don't see it come out. It doesn't have to be a large amount of money. It can just be small and then invested in some kind of growth and compounding.
Love it. Happy hustle hack for your spirituality. Something you do to connect to a higher power.
Pray. Even if I'm a Christian, I believe in Christ, but even if you don't have that belief, just pray to a higher power.
Yeah.
And you'll hear it. You'll hear that inner voice. You'll feel that feeling. Yeah. And whatever that feeling is to you, it'll guide you. Yeah. So pray.
3 things you're most grateful for today.
Most grateful for my relationship with Amber, first and foremost. Amazing woman. She's put up with me for a long time. 8 years now. And you've had some discussions with her as well.
She's a gem of a human.
Yes, she is. Absolutely. Biggest heart in the world. So she's my rock. She keeps me stable. The opportunity to work with a team I do in my business. Number 2, I have just an outstanding team that I have a lot of faith in, and I feel really good about where we're headed. And I'd say that's number 2. And number 3, I'm blessed to be able to do things like this. I'm blessed to be able to be on a podcast. I'm blessed to know you. I'm blessed to be able to interact with the people that are in the Happy Hustle group and my other CEOs groups. I love what I do. And regardless of whether it's 3PL, integrator, or a lemonade stand, I love business. And, if I can make a buck at it and help people in the process, I love it.
Mm, heck yeah, brother. And if you had a billboard for the world to see with your last piece of content on there, what's that billboard read, Brian?
Faith. I would, man, faith in big letters. No matter what. Somebody told me just yesterday, a friend of mine who's also a Christian, he said, if you believe and you know that you know where you're going, because I always say in the end we win, no matter what. If you believe today the way things are, whether they're good for you or bad for you, it gets better after this. This is the worst that it gets. So if you don't believe in anything, and I'm saying anything, it's not necessarily have to be a Christian. If you don't believe in anything, then today might be the best that it gets. So something to think about.
Yeah. Wow.
I couldn't put all that on a billboard, so I just write faith.
Yeah, there you go. Faith works. Well,
Yep.
Brian, you crushed that rapid fire round, man. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you truly from the bottom of my heart for sharing your love, your light, your wisdom, and just how you show up in my life is just this beautiful soul who is doing it for the right reasons. Your energy radiates, and how you show up for the community, how you play all out for your people and for your clients, and just I can speak to it on all fronts because now I'm a client of yours as well, with the business, so it's full circle. And it's really cool to see our relationship, grow and foster this bond, man. I just am so grateful to call you brother, and just grateful for you being on the pod today. So thank you, man. Love you.
You're gonna make me cry. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And hey, just along those same lines, men, strong men, we should be able to be vulnerable. We should be able to be vulnerable with our ladies. We should be able to be vulnerable with other men, and we should be able to. I mean, that's what it's all about. It takes a tribe,
Yeah.
and you can't do it alone. And why would you want to?
No.
I mean, so I appreciate the kind words, man, and I consider you a brother as well,
Thank you.
and I love this experience, and like I said, I'm blessed to be part of it, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the time here holds.
Heck yeah, man. Well, let's tie a bow on everything we talked about today: faith, hustle, health. Give people, a rallying cry, a call to action. Will you sum up our discussion and speak to, those aspiring and true entrepreneurs out there right now? Anything you want to leave them with?
Yeah, I think just summing things up. Start your day with intention. Make sure you're getting up. Thank your creator for what he's given you and the opportunity to take another breath, take another step, and then say to yourself, okay, I got out of bed. Now what's next? Move. And by move, I tie health and hustle into that.
Yeah.
So you can make a phone call on the treadmill these days, just like you can make a phone call sitting at your desk. Yeah. So, I watch football games, and, I'm doing push-ups and jumping on the rebounder and all that kind of stuff, so there's strategies to stack. So, intention, start your day with intention, pray, have faith. And if you're thinking about taking that step, take it. And if you want to talk to somebody about it, I'm happy to talk to anybody. I'm happy to help coach. I'm happy to offer some suggestions, but just take that step, because it's something telling you that you should. So don't be afraid.
Let's go, man. And where can people go to connect with you personally? I know you're active on LinkedIn, I believe. Well, give us some links.
Yeah, so LinkedIn for sure. I mean, if you just look for Brian McMaster, Kansas City, I'll pop up. LinkedIn is probably my best. I try to stay away from too much social media because it's very time consuming. Yeah, I think LinkedIn would be number one. Look me up on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook as well. So yeah, that's those are probably the two places.
Amazing. And check out M&M Quality Solutions if you have, a product you'd like to get out to more people, or you need a solution to a problem, maybe in the sourcing world or in the distribution aspect, soup to nuts. Brian can help you with his team and Yeah, I know you're coming out with some pretty cool things for swag too in-house that I'm really excited about. So printing and
Yeah.
laser engraving and stuff like that, right?
I like verticals. I like to the more service we can add to our clients,
Yeah,
the better. The more value, the more service.
right.
So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, check us out. I'd love to help. And if I can't do it, I know somebody who can.
Yeah,
So
there you go. Awesome, man. All right. Well, final question, Brian. This has been amazing, but I always end with this. What does happy hustling mean to you?
freedom, 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 freedom. And the reason I say that is as soon as we start implementing the things that you teach us, the just serving the community and doing those kind of things, you really you can't ever put a price on the smile on somebody's face when you help them. You
Mm,
can't you can't put a price or a cost on the blessings that you give to other people when you're working with groups and that type of stuff. So, to me, you've given me some tools to help me feel more free,
mm.
and it shows because my wife sees it, my friends see it. I was a different person when I came down off that mountain, and now I'm going to learn to snowboard because of you. So,
Yeah. I can't wait. That's gonna be awesome, man. Oh heck yeah. Way to crush that last question, man. And thank you all so much for watching and listening and rocking with us today. We appreciate you and we are out. Brian McMaster's mic drop. Peace and love, y'all.